Hello, I'm Dan Macchiarini, and you're at Metalworks SF, Macchiarini Creative Design, the oldest continuous metal arts gallery combined with a studio in the United States. And we're here celebrating First Fridays via the North Beach Business Association. And so we're here on the eve of American independence from England. And it evoked in me, in my newsletter, to quote someone who knew a lot about liberty. Liberty is meaningless where the right to utter one's thoughts and opinions has ceased to exist. That, of all rights, is the dread of tyrants. It is the right which they first of all strike down. Frederick Douglass, one of my heroes. Now, it should be an American hero. In fact, we should be celebrating Juneteenth in the same way we celebrate 4th of July, in my opinion. But anyway, welcome to First Fridays. We have a great lineup of poets reading tonight, and Jessica Luce, who is our manager and our organizer, is going to introduce the readers. Thank you.
Well, yes. Welcome to First Fridays, everyone, and happy 4th of July, I think. It is 4th of July, which is the beginning of summer in San Francisco. And I actually had to run home and get my jacket because I was fucking freezing earlier. I was being optimistic, and then I said to myself, why am I being optimistic? Because it's cold. And maybe tomorrow night you'll be able to see the fireworks, and maybe you won't be able to see the fireworks. 98% of the time you can't see the fireworks. Anyhow, I'll jump back to the fireworks part, I guess, in a few minutes. But I wanted to read a poem by my friend Neely Tchaikovsky, who many of you knew, was a very well-known poet here who died a few years ago. And so I wanted to read a poem. It was his birthday on June 1st, just 2 days ago. So I wanted to read a poem by him from his book, Hang On to the Yangtze River. It's called Other Poets. Other poets, I read them and delete them. I love and hate them. I see and am blind to them. I feel their pain and grim passion. I admire their love and composure. Other poets won't let me sleep. They ring the doorbell at midnight. They skip rope and play jacks. The best of them live in my dreams. And this poem is a poem by Robert Creeley, and it actually reminds me a little bit of what is happening in San Francisco right now, which we have to try as best as we can to stop. And this is called Buildings. This is written a long time ago, but anyhow. Buildings. Why not make them higher and higher and higher until they fall down? Something about raw side of cut cliff with building jammed against it still hurts. With world now 4 billion, yet haven't even started yet. Sentimental about earth and water and people, still got enough to share, but if you don't, you won't have it long. There's the money singing in the walls of this building. Sun's out, big lazy clouds float over the buildings, thank God. And this poem is also by Robert Creeley, and it's called Summer. and we can once again pretend. Summer, the last waltz, pale days, Jesus freaks, empty hours of sitting around, thinking and drinking, being home in a rented house for the summer only while the folks are away, and we get to use it as long as we pay. I'm going to read a poem from my friend Derek Fairchild, who's a musician that lived around here, who I read songs with often with his band. Drop D. Oh my God, I have a total mental block. Yes. So I'm smelling the weed over from Jerry's Corner. Anyway, I'm reading this because I like reading the poem anyway, but I was thinking about him for the past couple of days because several 4th of July's back, a couple of us spent 4th of July hanging out on his sailboat, barbecuing and watching the fireworks, which we couldn't see. But the burgers with horseradish were very good. And he was an hour and a half late, which he usually was, even for a lot of his gigs. And then his drummer played a trick on him, and he started showing up an hour and a half late instead. It was very funny. But anyhow, we were watching the fireworks on his boat, and there's these little scintillations of color. So like, oh, I see something pink. I see something blue. Oh, look, there's a green one. But anyhow, this is called Persimmon Season for Derek Fairchild. It was persimmon season. The succulent fruit hangs on its branches, ready, waiting in a Mediterranean autumn. It was Kate's birthday, a lagoon in Belvedere. Benny's polyrhythms rise from earth, enveloping air. Your totem pelicans choreograph a dance. Their wings sway, your friends sway, dancing on the dock's edge. They land in water. There are sausages and wine. You sing Isis, slide your steel guitar, the silent splash of sounds. That magical night, your last performance was fire. Where is the smoke, the embers of the flame? It was persimmon season, then you were gone. And what will I read? I'll read this one called The It, and it's for Occupy San Francisco. I wrote it during Occupy, which was many years back. I spent a lot of time at the SF Occupy. 2011. It was 2011, was it? Yeah, that was 10, 14 years ago.
Yeah, we're getting old.
Yeah. Okay, The It for Occupy SF. The city always has that buy, use, scam lingo. So buy it, use it, sell it, abuse it, get consumed. You won't be afraid. Blood rock stone, blood rock stone, blood rock stone, blood rock stone, blood rock stone. Advertising, it's the end of the world, and it's not one thing, it's everything. That's why we're intense and intense. Because we gotta get there, we gotta get there, we gotta get there, we gotta get there. Get shoved down into the sewer below Noir sidewalks. The news doesn't say it, so line up to work, work to line up, pile up like grain bags rotting on the docks. Blood rock stone, blood rock stone, blood rock stone, blood rock stone, blood rock stone. Somebody bought the water, but no one brought the water. So buy it, use it, scam it, sell it, abuse it, get consumed. You won't be afraid anymore. Okay, that's until when crop disappears in late autumn, we're switching seasons now, I guess. When crop disappears in late autumn, the soil already waits. Is it the birds leaving causing it? The lack of song? Or is it the gypsies who don't arrive? dancing on the land. And I actually wrote that poem. My friend Elizabeth Ashcroft here, she's an artist. She ran Live Worms Gallery down the street here for many years. But she had this thing that she did. It's like she asked poets to write a poem about fallow. So that was my poem about fallow. Okay. Eyes. Don't paint what you see. Show what's unheard. Brush the dew away. Because what the eyes do in purple crusts of dusk informs trumpets. Okay. I'll read one more and then we'll move on. The cradle. The poem comes from within me. That is why I can't come out. My daddy sings gobbledygook for beer and black olives. So the words take me only where the horse can carry me. I am not a mountain, only a mirror. So next, I would like to introduce Garrett Murphy.
Yo.
He read here once before, but it was quite some time ago. And I don't think I've heard him read since then, but he's been around for quite some time. He's an entity, a known entity in San Francisco, in the Bay Area. So please welcome Garrett Murphy.
Okay, and first piece is called Addicted to Crackdowns. Do you have a craving to punish simply because you can? Do you desire death penalties for looking out of the ordinary? Does the notion of collective punishment send you into ecstasy? Do you crave fantasies of maximum security prisons or accidental littering? If any of the above describes you, you may be addicted to crackdowns. But not to worry, we have a brand new group for you, Crackdownies Anonymous, and you need not worry about your explanation of your identity on the part of our organization. Of course, we cannot assume responsibility for your identity being revealed by your own blatant acts of your addiction. Crackdownies Anonymous is especially recommended for bosses, parents, police, judges, prosecutors, presidents, governors, school superintendents, principals, and administrators of all stripes, and anyone else drunk on their authority. Crackdown addiction is not easy to overcome. It is the most sought after and popular addiction by far, having long surpassed love addiction in its appeal and food addiction in its difficulty to overcome. Other addictions trail far behind. Crackdownies Anonymous is still in its infancy, and studies are yet to be completed concerning its effectiveness. However, the time is long overdue for an organization such as this. Our prisons, shelters, and asylums are for far too many casualties of crackdown addiction, and there are many casualties on the street as well, and you may already be one of them, never mind knowing one. Join Crackdownies Anonymous, crackdown on crackdowns. Okay, tough on tough. Well, it's tough, just tough. Folks just love the word tough. Here, tough there, tough everywhere, tough cops, tough love, tough teachers, tough standards, tough talk, tough this, tough that, too tough. Too much tough. Everyone loves toughness, it seems, and no wonder. Tough is tyrant, is terrorist, is torture, is traumatized. Tyrannosaurus Rex, the tyrant lizard, terrorize and torture other dinosaurs. Tyrants terrorize the people or their victims and expect everyone to love them for it. Tough talk, intimidation, and bullying of others. Tough standards, tyrannizing students, children, employees, subordinates. Tough cops taunt and torture and traumatize those not like them. The colors, the creeds, religion, sexual orientation, and more. And all expect the recipients to say thank you. And when the recipients do not say thank you and they do not love their oppressors, their masters, their superiors, their bosses, disgruntled employees strike out. Suppressed students, vandal graffiti drop out. Folks stone down on pick your substance. Crime, poverty, desperation, meanness, cynicism, favoritism, the terrorized lash out enterprise with disrespect plus hatred for authority. But of course, rather than check their own culpable methods for the assaulted taskmaster, our tough guys, tough bosses cover tougher regulations, tougher laws, tougher judges, tougher penalties, tougher scrutiny. And so here we are in the modern dinosaur age, with everyone moaning, groaning, scapegoating, and going with the flow, preferring figurative prisons with the delusion of security to the risk of democracy and freedom. Such is a society whose most sacred word is tough. Sic semper tough tyrannus. the secret prerequisite for passing Law Enforcement Academy. Congratulations to all you recruits. With the passage of our secret requirement, you have officially fulfilled all the tests for being able to call yourselves officers of the law. Let the outside world believe that what we mean by the special elite, that we mean toughening one's mind and body via basic training, or being proficient in hand-to-hand combat, or being the crackest shot imaginable. It is really none of those things, nor is it familiarity with police jargon or military jargon, or how well you can handle our numerous types of armament. Even knowing your badge or serial number. The most uncanny and savvy among you managed to figure it out. It happens to be how well you can tell a tall tale, one that moves our ally in court and politics to believe you when you can tell the target reached for your gun, or tried to assault you, or tried to threaten you and others, and you can now tell a most compelling story using a specially bred imagination. That, rookies, is what really makes a good law enforcer. You have passed with flying colors, and I am very proud of all of you. But just keep this in mind, officers. Real colors do not fly as gloriously as the ones you have just passed with. The Oppressor Rulebook. Attention! If you are reading this or hearing this, you have no doubt purchased the Oppressor Rulebook. Rest assured, our aim is to take you to reach commandments manuals to make you achieve all your efforts worth for your investment. We shall begin the reading of the commandments, which are as follows. Oppressors pick coolest when the ones they oppress. Oppressors feel good and making others feel bad. Oppressors pick symbols as easy targets, and then they're going after the actual culprits. Oppressors believe that they are the soul of existence. Oppressors believe that only they can be right and are shocked that others can possibly think for themselves. Oppressors always believe that they are perfect, so how dare we oppose them? The oppressors' favorite hiding places are tradition, popular opinion, authority, poll numbers, and sound bites. Oppressors never believe that their actions are wrong. Oppressors never believe that they can never be wrong. That is what makes them oppressors. Warning! Some oppressors believe they can never be oppressors simply because the institutions make that impossible. On the contrary, you don't have to be a race to be an oppressor. You don't have to be a gender to be an oppressor. You don't have to be an economic state to be an oppressor. Don't have to be a hierarchy to be an oppressor. Don't have to be a religion to be an oppressor. Or ideology, size, nationality, or any other demo to be an oppressor. You just have to oppress to be an oppressor. And not even for 24 hours to be an oppressor. You sure can't be born an oppressor. For oppressor is action plus attention plus not accident number. Oppression is oppression is oppression is oppression. Therefore, you too can be an oppressor. Now the replies from the makers and readers of this book. What do you have to say? No, poppycock, preposterous, erroneous. I do it because I love you, but only I didn't do anything wrong. Deal with it. It's your fault, your problem. Get with the program. Go with the flow because I said so. Respect your elders. You're just jealous. It's all in your mind. You'll thank people for them. They obey authority. My way or the highway. Do as I say. Never mind what I do. It's your destiny. It's genetic. In your face. You just made it up. Made it up. Made it up. Well, what can you expect from a perpetrator but a typical oppressor line? That concludes the reading of the Oppressor Rulebook. See never for more options. Yeah. Okay, let's try for a calmer piece called Walking Tightrope. This walk is quite familiar to us, though not in the usual way. We have to keep watch of each step, walking on eggshells just waiting to crack. Below could well be as shards of glass. Below could well be as the points of nails. The most visible ends could resemble spores or the harsh ends of violent thistles. All we know is that the rope must be tread with extreme caution or else we could be quite through. It comes to our mind that we've likely experienced this before, only then we were safely in the arena, all yet fearful and hoping for the success of the performer. Now audience, performers, and the participants are the one. We are out on a tightrope with still a long way to go before we reach the other side. Nuts in charge. The world is in need of so many a thing. The times they are waiting in the crucial to boot. Our survival as we know it is open to question if the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. The bullies have been turned into the heroes of the world. McCarthy has come through to sentence treason. A crisis and instructed leadership is sore needed, but the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. and the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. The genocidal maniacs now have a field day. Respondents say because they feel they have nothing left to lose, those who claim them for the victims of oppressors instead, for the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. And the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. Now, if you see the profilers out licking their chops of all the dark, cute, and non-Christians on the menu, and you say it's okay, just a tad inconvenient, then you must be a nut in the cookie jar. Yeah, you must be a nut in the cookie jar. And you must be a nut in the cookie jar. And you must be a nut in the cookie jar.
Yeah.
And I'll close with this little piece. Thank you, nuts. We thank you for tormenting us, for calling us names, for harassing and profiling us, for assaulting us with your slaps, your fists, your weaponry, your spittle, and for shouting obscenities and slurs in our faces. We thank you for your collective punishment, for destroying our property, our loved ones, our very own lives, and please accept our thanks to you for your attempts to destroy our self-esteem and pride. You've done us a tremendous service we shall not soon forget, and should you truly believe any of the above, then you, pseudo-sirs and phantoms, are truly no more than just another perpetrator. Thank you.
Garrett Murphy. Once again, the nuts are in charge of the cookie jar. That pretty much sums it all up.
Yeah, it does.
It's perfect for the 4th of July. Just to remind ourselves that the nuts are unfortunately in charge of the cookie jar. And next up, we have Jonah Raskin, who's a poet who has also been around for a long time, who I've never had read before. And he just told me, just as a point of interest, that he is working on a biography of the artist Richard Perry.
Kill your landlord. Kill your landlord. No, wait a minute. Don't kill your landlord. Kidnap him and hold him for ransom. Hang him from his toes and blow smoke up his ass. Film the whole thing and enter it at Sundance. Bribe the judges. Bring Amari Baraka back to life. Have him testify about peace crimes. Wrap the Donald in explosives set to go off on his birthday to show that democracy works. Elevate the unelevated. Don't think about sex for more than 2 seconds. Install a dictatorship of the beautiful and the damned in Russia and Iran, Israel and Italy. Bring all the poets together to make a collective poem to last 60 seconds. Bring back the dinosaurs. Make sure to collect the money from the ransom. Buy a boatload of weed. Give it away to the needy at the holidays. And while you're at it, fuck Santa Claus, Mrs. Claus, and all the elves, along with Peter Rabbit and the Easter Bunny. Elevate the illegitimate and the indigenous. Say the Lord's Prayer backwards. Smoke blunts with everyone at Fox. Turn them inside out and upside down. Send them to the moon with Musk. Strand them there with the man in the moon. Fuck Musk up good and feel virtuous doing it.
Yo.
An irreplaceable tribe. Oh, Jack, dear Jack, your books brought me to California and then transported me across the border where I searched and couldn't find the peasants you called the felalin. Tried and failed to learn the rumba, read Mexico City blues, met Tristeza and the Spanish-speaking beats, the members of an irreplaceable tribe, wrote my own bluesy novel, reread On the Road, heard the voice of the lonesome traveler, heard jazz live at a club where I smoked mota and smuggled a kilo across the border at Nuevo Laredo, barefoot and bearded, saw the flooded Mississippi behind a chain-link fence as though the river could be arrested and imprisoned, thumbed my way to Frisco, descended on Vesuvio, communed with the ghost of Bob Kaufman on Broadway, read the police autopsy for Natalie Jackson, which my detective brother secured for me from a cop. Oh, Jack, poor Jack, you were a sad, sad sack. Don't stop until you bebop. I wish I had Al Pacino's eyes. I wish I had Al Pacino's eyes. I wish I was sunbathing on the plage in Nice again with John Paul Belmondo when we were both out of breath, and later in Paris strolling on the Champs-Élysées where I bought the Herald Tribune from Jean Seberg before she hooked up with the Black Panthers, before Nixon shot and killed Fred Hampton in Chicago, before I went mad, picked up a lead pipe on 51st Street, Manhattan, trashed in 60 seconds 6 plate glass windows at Saks Fifth Avenue, the mega department store, before the cops in the 19th arrested me and beat me black and blue. I wish I had Al Pacino's eyes. Potato Head. The fridge a cold cellar. In that walk up 5th floor New York apartment where my marriage fell apart, where I had zero money, and where my mates and I lived on potatoes until I snagged food stamps. We boiled them, broiled them, and fried them in bacon fat I scooped from the recycled Maxwell House coffee can that sat on the stove and replenished itself. A potato head. I never went hungry, and neither did Bob, an out-of-work actor, and his German wife Barbara, an out-of-work playwright, who once nearly starved to death. But she unearthed root vegetables from a weedy field in Berlin and smuggled them to the flat where she shivered with her mother, but not her father, an officer lost on the Eastern Front near the Elbe, where the Russians and the Americans met. In Berlin, GIs dispensed cigarettes for sex and gave the Fräuleins the clap. 2 decades later in New York, I scarfed potatoes 3 times a day with news on the radio of a jungle war, simmered peeled potato skins in a pot of water seasoned with salt and pepper, and remembered the days when I feasted on baked beans and tortillas in a time of troubles, hungry for budding springtime. Thank you.
Thank you. That was Jonah Raskin once again. I do not have Al Pacino's eyes either. However, I am going to read another poem from my book, Tambourine, that just came out. And I read this actually at this reading on May Day. And it was very appropriate for May Day, but I feel like it's actually appropriate for 4th of July. So I will read it again. It's called Charlottesville. A government system marked by centralization of authority is a dictator's priority. Crush the opposition, terror, censorship, embrace belligerent racism, the inferiority of non-whites, fear the browning of America, shoot, cage, take away, march in Charlottesville, defend Confederate monuments, carry kill the Jews signs, a torchlight. There was proof that night our flag was still there, indivisible and justice for all. Don't rise up for the pledge or the banner, bring a hammer. The bombs bursting in air, rock against fascism, stand with the street punks, boots and braces, don't make a racist, fuck skinheads, KKKs, fuck Nazi sympathy.
Yeah!
Yeah, next, that being said, I'd like to welcome Breakfast, who is a musician and slash poet that is also a fixture on the San Francisco music scene, and he's going to do a few pieces for you. Please welcome Breakfast.
Jessica asked me to play this song, this Langston Hughes song that I put to music, or poem that I put to music. And so this is something that I'd already put to music years ago, just because I'd found a anthology of Langston Hughes poems, and I wasn't intending to put any of the music, but then this one was the only one that was set out in stanzas, so I'm like, oh, let me give this one a crack. And then I'm not really like a fretboard player, I'm more of a keyboard player, and I wound up writing something that's a lot harder than I was able to technically do at the time. So because Jessica keeps asking me to play it over the years, I've been just practicing this piece a lot more, and so not only getting better at the ukulele because of it, but also just getting more and more into, the poem. So this is Piero by Langston Hughes. I work all day, sad Simple John. Myself a house to buy. I work all day, sad Simple John. But Piero wondered why. But Piero wondered why. For Piero loved the long white road, and Piero loved the moon, and Piero loved a star-filled sky and the breath of a rose in June. I have one wife, said Simple John, and faith I love her yet. I have one wife, said Simple John, but Piero left Pierrette. But Piero left Pierrette. For Piero saw a world of girls, and Piero loved each one, and Piero thought all maidens fair as flowers in the sun. Oh, I am good, said Simple John. The Lord will take me
me in. Oh, I am good and simple John, but Piero steeped in sin. But Piero steeped in sin. For Piero played on a slim guitar, and Piero loved the moon. And Piero ran down the long white road with the burger's wife one June. Piero played on a slim guitar, and Piero loved the moon. And Piero ran down the long white road with the burger's wife one June. For Piero saw a world of girls, and Piero loved each one. And Piero thought all maidens fair as flowers in the sun. For Piero loved the long white road, and Piero loved the moon. And Piero loved a star-filled sky and the breath of a rose in June. So Jessica also asked me to play a particular comedy song that I didn't bring another instrument for, and was thinking, well, she wants some comedy. So I've also found out that some people still don't know about J.D. Vance and the couch. So if you don't know about the couch, well, here's a good recap. But if you don't know, here's like a quick preview to make the song make more sense. So after he became famous in the Replicant Convention 2 years ago, somebody tweeted that he fucked a couch and wrote about it in Hillbilly Elegy. And we had just found out a few months earlier about Christy Nome shooting her dog because she wrote about it in her memoir. And it's like, hey, everybody. So well, maybe he did this, maybe he didn't. And the whole internet went on fire. Where's this passage? And AP News had to come out saying, no, he didn't fuck a couch. And then the next day they had to retract that, saying, well, actually, we can't prove that he didn't. So this is to memorialize the 48th President of the United States. By the way, there was a video for this song that was filmed right here in North Beach by Turkey. Maybe some of you know him, living down the street. And it was filmed at, what's the name of that place? Foreign Cinema, whatever. Lens? Foreign Lens. Yeah, Foreign Cinema is a bougie restaurant. So anyway, let's talk more rock. Or country in this case. Did J.D. Vance ever drop his pants for a couch? Is there any evidence out there that we can vouch? I'm just asking questions here, so don't you be a grouch. Did J.D. Vance ever drop his pants for a couch? Did J.D. Vance ever drop his pants for a couch? Did J.D. Vance lubricate a rubber glove? Did he push it between two cushions with a gentle shove? Did he hit it from the side, or did he take it from above? Did J.D. Vance and a sofa make sweet love? Did J.D. Vance ever drop his pants for a couch? Is there any evidence out there that we can vouch? I'm just asking questions here, so don't you be a grouch. Did J.D. Vance ever drop his pants for a couch? Did J.D. Vance ever drop his pants for a couch? Did J.D. Vance ever drop his pants? Did J.D. Vance make a bold advance? Did J.D. Vance go and take a chance? Did J.D. Vance have a hot romance? Did J.D. Vance do a dirty dance? Did J.D. Vance ever drop his pants for a couch? Thank you. For the 48th president. So, yeah. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, folks, we're going to close this out with a Langston Hughes poem, very short. I memorized this out of a pamphlet called The Panther and the Lash, which I got when I was in my 20s. And I bought so many of them and gave them away that I don't have one anymore. But anyway, there's going to be more Langston Hughes read up at Coit Tower after this. It's called The American Heartbreak, 1519. I am the American heartbreak, the rock upon which freedom stubbed its toe, the mistake that Jamestown made long, long ago.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jess. Everyone for coming. Some poets have spilt their wine and everything. It makes it an official poetry reading. Someone didn't show up. We started slightly late. It makes it more than an official poetry reading. But anyway, hope to see you next month, August 7th, for August First Friday. Thank you to Macchiarini Creative Design for hosting this event. Thank you to Colin and Alcatraz Radio, Alcatraz for Alcatraz Radio, sorry, for filming this every month for years. Check it out on Alcatraz Radio. And those of you who are still standing, I'd really appreciate some help carrying the chairs inside and downstairs. If a few of us do it, it only takes a few minutes.